everyone, and welcome to the 30-Day Summit, where Russell Brunson has brought together a collection of his top 2 Comma Club and 8-figure award winners to share with you how they would literally survive and begin to rebuild their business in just 30 days if they lost it all. My name is Bailey Richard, and right now I'm delighted to be speaking with Garrett J. White. Garrett is the founder of Wake Up Warrior Movement, author of best-selling books Warrior Book and Be the Man, and he is the creator of Warrior Week and host of the #1 podcasts Warrior on Fire, Warrior Wealth, and Date Your Wife. What started as a desire to set himself free from the bondage of his own failing life after the banking crisis of 2008 soon transformed into the launch of a movement in late 2012 that is quickly changing the business world we have known for decades using an unconventional method known as the Warrior's Way. Garrett also co-owns DKW Styling Salon and BMS Training Systems in the hair industry. He lives in Laguna Beach, California with his 3 children, Parker, Bailey, and Ruby. So Garrett, welcome to the summit.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, if I do say so myself, you have excellent name choice when it comes to your children.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, my daughter and you have like the exact same game, spelled just a little bit different, but yes, I've already feel an endearing love to you as we begin.
Well, that really bodes well for our interview today then. So why don't we go ahead and get started? You know, I had the pleasure of listening to you speak live on stage at Funnel Hacking Live this year in 2018. And one of the things that I really gathered from what you had to say was that it's not just enough for us to be on top of our business, but really there are 4 total core areas in our lives that we need to be paying attention to be truly successful. So you call these the core 4, and they come at the very beginning of your 30-day plan. So I would love to ask you to share with us a little bit more about the core 4.
So here, I've literally gone through this process of losing everything, and lost everything: name, brand, product, everything, lists, clients, everything. So when I sat back and I looked at building this 30-day plan for myself, I put myself into that place, but based on the skills that I have now. But the one thing that stayed common that I didn't have the first time when things fell apart, and under this kind of make-believe game that I fell apart again, and if it ever did for me, I would go directly to this. I would come back to this place of recognizing the only way I'm going to produce myself out of the pit that I've created for me is to access power. And what we tend to do, and what I did after the first collapse of my businesses in 2008, was I immediately focused all my energy and attention on business, to the exclusion of my body, to the exclusion of my being, my meditation, my spiritual disciplines with God, and my relationship with my wife and children, thinking that by doing so, I would actually create more. So as I sat back and I looked at the 30-day challenge, I was like, listen, the first thing I've got to establish is that I am committing still to a lifestyle that I live to this day. And so if Wake Up Warrior and everything disappeared, I lived the Warrior's Way before I ever was teaching it to anyone. Every morning, my routine through these 30 days would stay the same. Body, being, balance, business, 4 areas, 8 specific activities, all driven by one thing: put myself in power. And it would be the first thing that I would do every single day throughout the 30 days.
You stress that a lot in your 30-day plan, this concept of having routines, doing things on a daily basis or doing things on a weekly basis, and how important it is for you to keep those activities going routinely in order to stay on track.
Yep. And that extends also into what you'll see inside of the map that I've shared with you guys into my daily war. So here's the game: that the daily war is about building connection with new relationships right out of the gate. So you can look at daily core 4 as staying in power with myself so that I can produce myself out of this hole. The second piece, though, is my daily war, which is 8 specific ritualistic activities that I'm doing on a daily basis to begin harboring and building relationships even before I figured out what I'm going to sell, even before I figured out what I'm going to be about, or how I'm going to, what funnel I'm going to use, what system I'm going to use. The 2 things I know must exist. I must be in power, and there must be people involved, which means I got to put me in that every day. And out of the gate, day 1, I start the conversation of the daily war, and I explain a little bit about what that looks like in the day 1 outline.
Absolutely. You know, during week 1, you spent a lot of time talking about how you'll set your own financial goals and find inspiration to make it happen, but how you'll also reflect upon what will happen if you fail. And by the end of week 1, you're beginning to also identify what problems you can help your potential clients with when you were crafting something called your pain web. So I was wondering if you could spend a little bit of time talking to us about the importance of focusing in on what happens if you fail, this customer pain web, and anything associated with those thoughts.
You got it. Most people are going to talk to you about, hey, listen, focus on the positive. During these times, you're in the pit. Shit is not working out. Your business will fall apart. You're going to be in an emotional hurricane. That whole first week, I really spent time. I had a couple of my teams review this, and they're like, dude, you can do all that stuff in the first 7 days in like one day. And I was like, I know. But I also know, and having gone through this, there's some mourning that's going to go on. Like there's some pain that you're going to be in. Like you're going to be hurting. If you just lost everything, or if you're starting from nothing, you're in a painful place already. So when I step in, then I leverage inside of creation for myself two very interesting things. I don't just stay on the pleasure side. Everybody talks about staying on the vision board and the possibility, and here's the target, and focus on where you're going to go. What I have found works for me is that I get clear about where I'm going to go and why. And then I come back and I leverage the shit out of myself by putting myself against the wall and putting my back against the wall with pain. Here are the consequences if you fail. If you choose not to do the daily work, if you choose not to do what you are outlining right now, here is the consequence that you will face, and here is why your life will fall apart. If for some day in your weakness along these 30 days, you forget. So I actually put both up inside of my world all the time. Same thing with dating my wife every week. Like it's the, if I date, here is the pleasure. If I do my daily 8 and I connect inside of the Facebook groups and the social media groups that I'm part of, and I start to build my chat relationships in my daily work, if I do this, here is the powerful possibility that will open up. But, asshole, talking to myself, if you wake up and you decide to be stupid and drink all day, here is the painful consequence coming your way, not maybe, guaranteed. And then I will link that across all 4 domains of Body Being Balanced business. Now, the same thing I'll do to myself, I'm going to figure out from my prospect. So you'll see in my first week, I'm starting to identify the problem that I want to solve and the person that I want to solve it for. And inside of that place, the same way that I'm in a pleasure pain bubble and I'm in this little pocket of pleasure and pain, my prospect will be in the same place. And so my goal is to look at this from a different place. And of all the things that I will share with you inside of this 30 days and anything you could read and any shit you ever heard from me, if you listen to nothing else I ever told you, ever, and you said, this guy is arrogant, he is an asshole, he is too loud, I don't like how he talks, great. Put all that to the side for just a second. Average marketers and average producers look at surface level, visible problems. And they say, I'm going to create a product or a service to solve this visible problem. But where very few are able to go, and even know they should, are able to take that from the surface level problem and unleash the web of pain, or what I call the pain web, that surrounds that problem. So take, for example, somebody in a situation where they are struggling with their body. People come to you, say, you're struggling with your body, you're struggling with your weight, you want to lose weight. And so we see this surface problem, which is, I want to lose weight. My doctor says I've got bad health. My doctor says I'm going to become diabetic. My doctor says I'm going to die. And people are like, okay, so we deal with this surface level, but no one talks about the next problem. The fact that you're 110 pounds overweight has now begun to affect your marriage. And what I can tell you is a man that is 110 pounds overweight is not getting laid. He's not having sex. His wife is not turned on by him, which means that has already created confusion and lack of confidence. I also know that the body image that a man has for himself or a woman affects in business. And so I begin to pull the consequence of this painful problem in body. I begin to pull it to the marriage. Your marriage is falling apart because you haven't committed to changing your body. Your business, your confidence in sales conversations and in production conversations is not the same because you're allowing your body to fall apart. And then I'll take it to their kids. And your children are becoming obese just like you. And you literally could be a man with a gun to the head of your children and threatening their lives. And if you did that with a gun, we'd throw you in jail, but you keep pulling through McDonald's. And your obesity has now become second generation. And now you're teaching and torturing your children and their children. And now it's not just about you. And all of a sudden, you're watching this problem that started out with this thing like, I need to lose some weight, all of a sudden becomes this bigger thing. And as you do this, two things open up. One, inside the pain web, the problem becomes magnified. Two, inside the pain web, the price flexibility exists. People will pay more inside of the pain web for a solution than they will outside of the pain web with simply the surface level conversation. So you find your entry point, and then I'm going to paint it around all four. If it's in body, then I'm going to paint it around being and spirituality and purpose and balance and marriage and kids and business and bank accounts and money. If it's in their business, they're struggling, which in my 30 days would be the case. Their business is struggling, then I would link it back up to their body, link it up to the consequence on their spirituality and relationship with God, link it up to the relationship with their kids, and link it up to the relationship with their wife. And inside of that place, you begin to have a packaged offer that is far more powerful. That's why I spend a whole week doing this. Everybody else wants to spend 2 hours. Well, I'm going to spend 2 hours. I'm going to figure out the problem. I'm going to figure out the pain. I'm going to figure out the prospect. And then I'm going to figure out the product. And then I'm going to figure out the packaging. And then I'm going to pitch it in 2 hours before lunch while drinking coffee. And while you do that, you build a foundation that is shit. And so you'll get ahead of me off the line. You will. I drive a Lamborghini Aventador as my daily driver. The car gets beat. I can get beat off the line by other cars that are lighter and faster. But within 3 seconds, my car actually, like 2 seconds, my car just starts to like cough. And once it coughs, woof, good night. You will not. You will do nothing but read my license plate, and you'll not be able to read that within a couple of seconds because I'll be so fucking far down the road. So I look at the game here in this first week as establishing a foundation for you and a foundation for who you're going to go after. This is 80% of getting to the money and the success you're wanting, regardless of whether it was 30 days or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. And you know, one of the things that you talk about in your 30-day plan, we should definitely mention at this point, is how you're not only interested in creating and taking a look at your customers' pain web, but also you want to take a look at your competitors as well. Now, maybe that in itself isn't revolutionary, but what you say about it really is, in that you should be paying attention and trying to analyze where your competitors are weak. And you kind of alluded to this in your last answer by saying that top marketers are looking at their customers' pain web and average marketers are not. But I would love to hear a little bit more about why you're trying to analyze where your competitors are weak and how that's going to play into your overall strategy to become the best in your market.
Perfect. So I was sitting in Boise, Idaho with a man who wrestled at Boise State University. Happened to know a few things about marketing, and his name was Russell Brunson. You might know this guy. All right. So I'm up in the mastermind in November 2016. And I had been doing some things inside the way that I'd build businesses and use ClickFunnels to do it. But Russell it was before Expert Secrets launched, and he was testing all the concepts by drawing his cool shit out and testing. And I had gotten a beta version of the book, and I had been reading and studying some of the stuff that he had been into. And I was super excited about the new book because my wife was reading it, just like .com Secrets. But Russell opened up a lot of ideas in that. But one of the things he was sitting there up on his flip chart, he's drawing his shit out, and he said, nobody wants something that's a little bit better. People are not searching for something a little bit better. So if you take the pain web, but then you offer something a little bit better than something else, you're going to be back into the price box and you're going to struggle, okay, to create distinction between your offer and somebody else. But if you can offer somebody a new opportunity, which was driven and inspired off of the book, The Blue Ocean, which was getting out of the red, bloody seas of competition and moving into this new opportunity. So when I go in to look at my competitors, I don't funnel hack anybody, really. Like, I don't go study people's funnels maybe the way that some of you guys do. What I'm actually looking for is something different. I'm looking for what works and what I see working across the industry. Now, you have to take note of that. There's a reason why there are certain things that are working across the industry. That's why Russell gives you specific frameworks for your funnels that we know work. That's why the perfect webinar and things like this, they work. It doesn't matter what you're doing. They are processes and principles that work, okay? But those aren't where you're going to create your distinction. You want to know those. Where you're looking for is where can you create a new opportunity inside the weakness of your competitors. Now, weakness shows up in a competitor in one of two ways. One, because they literally are not qualified to actually solve an aspect of the problem inside of who they are as a company, or who they are as a trainer, or who they are as a consultant, or who they are as a software provider. They are unable. They are unable. It's not even a capacity in them, and you can see the angle. The second place is that they choose not to do it, which happens in business too. You cannot serve everyone, and you cannot serve every angle. So I'm looking specifically for those two places where weakness exists inside of the frame of the offers already being purchased, either because the client, the person I'm looking at, is truly weak and cannot do it, or I can see the angle as to why they have focused on a different blue ocean and they've left a piece of the marketplace completely open. So I'll look at this through either segmenting and kind of like men and women. Wake Up Warrior was driven just at men for a long first 6.5 years. Finally, this year we do stuff with women, but it was just men. And I saw that as an angle. There was nothing in Wake Up Warrior. There was no one who was aggressively taking a stand for personal development married up to business and marrying them together, but with the exclusivity of men. And the weakness I saw was in men's church groups and in local experiential events where it was blended with men and women, where typically all the women were talking and being interviewed because they were more emotional and willing to be more vulnerable. So I saw a window back in 2012 where I was like, there is weakness in this entire fucking industry, and it's twofold. There because they can't do it, and two, like a lot of the trainers, they were not good at business, but they were very good at talking about personal development. Or on the flip side, they were very good at business, but they didn't know shit about people. Like they were horrible at helping people. I was like, man, I got skills on both sides. So I'm going to offer a new opportunity, which is I know people and I know business. And we're going to put those two together, and then we're going to make it even different. We're going to make it just for guys. And then we're going to make it even more different. It's only for married guys with children who run businesses. And I started to find that segment of the marketplace was being served horrifically. There was no one who was taking a stand for this group to cover those two conversations. Hence, Wake Up Warrior goes from a concept in 2012 to tens of millions of dollars annually in production, serving that particular niche. I would do the exact same thing again if you took everything away from me. I would go right back to the drawing board like I did in 2012, and I would find the weakness in the marketplace.
Okay, so after you've done this, after you've analyzed your competitors and the market to identify those weaknesses, you then say by the end of week 2, you need to create an offering that is able to address those weaknesses. And in week 3, craft a funnel that you can use in order to sell and launch that offering to your audience. So I'd love to ask you for your thoughts around the process and strategy, especially as it relates to the video funnel that you talk about creating in your 30-day plan.
Perfect. So when I first started, doing funnels at all, even before ClickFunnels existed, I was building sequences and systems. It was very painful. It was very hard. I was leveraging a lot of other tools, trying to glue everything together. But I understood the concept of systematically seducing a person to a decision. I also knew doing that video was my thing. It was not easy. Live stream from cell phones wasn't possible at the time. It was very difficult to do it, but I knew that I needed to do video. And I was inspired by what I had seen inside of some games with a man by the name of Brendan Burchard. And who I would coach with back in 2009 and 10. And he was teaching this 4-part video funnel. And I had seen guys like Jeff Walker and other guys in the industry who I was studying were doing these multi-video funnels. I was not very good at building a sales video. And I was definitely not good back then at writing a sales page. I could do that now, but back then I couldn't. So if I fast forward today, I would go back to the basics of what I know worked. Here's what works. Teach people shit, and inside of it, invite them to a conversation. But you teach them shit inside of a sequence of content. So my funnel would be very different. It wouldn't be a perfect webinar. That's not my thing, right? My thing would be about, I like to grind on people for a couple days. Meaning it's not like I come at you really intense and I'm like, bam. Typically when people engage with me, like I'm very intense, as you can tell. And the first reaction is like, I fucking hate this guy, or I'm terrified of this guy, or I love this guy. I've been waiting for him my whole life. But it's impossible to ignore me. Like, it's impossible. You'll either hate me, you'll love me, or you'll like sit on the sideline, get some popcorn and a beer, and you're like watching the show. You're like, this is a train wreck that's about to happen. I'm very passionate about watching this guy blow up. So inside of it, I already know that for me. And so I know that I've got to polarize my marketplace, but I also need to give them time to see that I'm not just this like yelling guy, that I'm a guy who actually knows business. And the difference between me and other guys that yell on camera is that I build, execute, and deploy multi-million-dollar businesses from scratch in less than 6 months. And I've done it now with 3 other companies just this year in 2018. And people don't see that piece. So I need a funnel in this angle because I'm going after business consulting. I may have lost all my money, but I know how to build shit. And I'm going to rest on that. And that's a side note I want you guys to get. If you've lost everything, or if you're starting from what you feel like is nothing, there is something in your past of what you have done that has led you to here that you are qualified to lead on. And it may not, if you're trying to teach people how to save money, well, then you're probably fucked because you have no money. Right? If you're trying to teach people how to invest their money, but you don't have any money, that's probably not going to work out too. But in my angle, I'm going to take a stand in my 30 days on, I know how to make money, and obviously I don't know how to keep it because I don't have any. So I'm not going to try to teach you how to keep it. You go find somebody else with 14 degrees from Harvard, and they'll teach you how to save your money, or you go listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to make it. I can get you from 0 to X. And so I'm going to take that angle, and my video series is going to be an opt-in page that leads to 4 to 5 training videos. 4 to 5. Okay. Now here's how they work. Video 1, I'm going to set up the problem, and I'm going to allude to that same problem on the opt-in page. But video 1, I'm going to just put the person watching this video in 15 to 20 minutes into pain. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to throw myself under the bus first. I'm going to say, here's how I used to fuck it up, and here's how I did. And here's how you are likely doing it, and here's the consequence for your business not making money. Okay, which again would be my angle. If I was going after hairstylists, or if I was in the hair industry, or if I was in the financial service industry, or if I was in the fitness industry or the software space, it would be the same frame, but obviously a different conversation. But video number 1 is all about putting them into pain and the problem. Okay, that video is then followed by a second video. Second video is all about the possibility. And I'm going to talk about the peak of where life could go and what's possible. And again, throughout these videos, I'm teaching them things I've learned going to the pit, and I'm teaching them the key principles that led me to the peak. These 2 games then open up the gap. Video 3, then I'm going to introduce now the possibility of the path, which is what were the steps that I took to go from the pit to the peak. The next video, I'm going to talk right around the pitch, which is I'm going to start really laying into them about where they're at and being able to move forward. Now, side note, throughout all 4 of these videos, I'm making a call to action. Every 4 to 5 minutes, I am calling to action to apply to have a one-on-one consultation where I can take this blueprint I'm sharing with them and apply it in their life. So video 1, when they come in, I'm going to call to action 7 to 10 times during that video. Like every 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to go, that video is going to be 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm going to shoot it from my fucking cell phone. Why? Because I lost all my cameras, I guess. I made that part up too. I was like, I'm going to shoot this from my cell phone with no microphone. I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to have a whiteboard. And I'm going to shoot it with my arm as the tripod like this, and I'm going to use my hand as the acoustic device to capture my voice, because I want to make this real so you don't think I got, because I have like entire studios now. I would go back to my cell phone and shoot these videos face to camera, and then turn the camera around, and then I would write stuff down and video it, and then I would turn the camera back around, and then I would shoot it against my face again. The whole time, though, I'm calling to action to go to another page with a video on it. So if I can visualize this with my hands, I wish I could draw this out for you. You have all these videos across the top, okay? Opt-in video, video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4, video 5. Down beneath all 5 of those videos is another page, and that page is the application page. And that page has another video on it and a Wufoo form or an embedded form on Typeform or some form that I'm using inside of ClickFunnels. And that page down there is going to speak to filling out an application to have a conversation with me. Someone does not wait to the end of the 5 videos to apply. They can apply at any time through any of the 4 videos, All of my autoresponders are pushing back to a specific video for a specific number of days. And then at the end, I'm just driving people right to apply. This would take like a while to explain, but you can read more about it in the map. But the piece I want you to catch is I'm going to deliver a lot of value in content, teaching, and training with calls to action every 3 to 5 minutes to apply. And it might sound like this. Hey, so here we are in video number 1, and I've been discussing the painful problem. We've been talking about the cost of not solving this problem inside of your world, the cost on your marriage, the cost on your body, the cost on your spirituality. As a businessman or woman, you know this has to change. And what I'm going to invite you to do is, if you've connected with this message so far for me, and again, I'm shooting my video like this, you've connected and this message will be so far. What I would invite you to do is click on a button below this video and fill out that application while we continue down this video. I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with you and connect with you more about how this could apply inside of your business in your life and how you can start solving this problem today. So let's come back to problem and our conversation. And then I'll jump straight right back into the content. Teaching, call to action, teaching, call to action. Does this clarify a bit?
Absolutely. And in fact, I think that everybody who is watching this right now should pause this video if you can and go back and re-listen to what Garrett just said and actually write down word for word that script, because that is such a genuine script that fits so seamlessly into that video that even though it is a slight interruption of the content, it doesn't seem like an interruption.
And that right there is how I've done my offers from the beginning. Because I suck at the big, I don't like it. I don't like the skate ramp pitch to me where everybody knows you're building to an offer. So I diffuse it out of the gate so that people can focus on the content that I'm sharing, and they know right out of the gate. I'll even start video 1 with something goes like this. Before we get into this free 5-part series with you, I want you to know at some point throughout this, your mind and heart is going to connect with this message. And if it does, my invitation to you is to apply for a one-on-one free consultation with me. No obligation. Now, with that being said, let's jump into our content. So there I was in 2007, and it is like, it's just this massaging game that they will hear through that heart funnel. They'll hear that 30 plus times from you. And people even tell me, I eventually applied because you just wouldn't shut up about it. You kept saying it and saying it. I was like, I know, I want to give you a chance.
Excellent. Well, after you deploy your funnel towards the end of week 3, week 4 is all about sharing it with your list, promoting yourself, pitching your program, and closing deals. So I would love it if you could share with us highlights of any important activities that are going on during this final launch week of your plan.
So remember throughout this very beginning, back in the very beginning with the daily 8. So my daily war has a core 4 and then has the daily 8 activities. If you study what I did there and what I said inside the plan, every day from the first day, I have been building lists, okay? Not waiting to send them to a landing page. I've been building lists inside of my own spreadsheets. Through chat on Facebook, Instagram, DM, I have been building lists of people who I'm engaging with and seducing and connecting with and identifying the pain web inside of their world and giving them value through chat conversations from me. Very free frameworks that I'm creating in Evernote and firing them an Evernote link, even jumping on the phone, having conversations, helping them solve problems, not selling anything, not pitching shit, nothing. My only job is to build and connect relationships with people who I feel could be a potential prospect 3 weeks down the road when I start making offers. Okay, so that is the caveat to this. Second piece, my first goal is to get to the first dollar. Like, I need to close. In most cases with this, I would have closed on my first client before I even launched the funnel. Like, I know myself and I know my skills and I know what I would do. And inside of that place, it is very likely by the end of week 2 into the beginning of week 3, I would already have my first tuition collected or my first investment from a client. Now, there's 2 reasons why it's important to get the first dollar. 1, because it makes you committed. Because you just sold something. You're like, I just sold something. Okay, this is really happening. A lot of times you'll spend so much time working on your funnel and so much time trying to figure shit out, but you're not getting the money. You think the focus is the funnel. The focus is not the funnel. The funnel is a weapon to get the money. It's to get the prospect. So if you focus on the wrong shit, you're going to spend all this time. And I've watched people do this. I've watched people spend 6 months trying to work on a funnel and never deploy. You're like, dude, you're missing the point. You don't win any trophies for building a funnel. You don't get a fucking ring. I didn't wear my cool ring Russell gave me today. That's like my date night ring. That ring itself, that for the $10 million club, like you don't get that ring because you built a fucking cool funnel. You get it because you sold shit. Nobody cares about the funnel if it didn't sell anything. So if you have the wrong focus, you're in trouble. So I know I'm at, but the funnel helps us get there faster, automates, and in this case, beyond 30 days, lets us build an entire game that you could operate on and build a business on to join the 2 Comma Club. Okay, so let's come back to it. The second piece then inside of it, 1 is to get the money so that you believe. 2, to get the money so that I can dump money into traffic right away. So when I launch my funnel, I'm not going to just pull organically from my chat list or the groups that I'm part of and the places I've been adding value for 3 weeks. The minute I get cash, I will turn right back around and I will start deploying ads to my funnel opt-in page, which means if I can get that money by week 3, great. And if I made $10,000 in that first 3 weeks, I will take the entire fucking $10,000 and dump it back into traffic. And this is where a big distinction happens. You want to know what's true about all the guys with the X rings on stage, the guys and gals? They're all traffic people. You want to know the truth about most of the 2 Comma Club? They're all people who invest in advertising. Like, this took me forever to get. So one of the first targets is get the money so that I can continue to believe. Get the money so that I have revenue to go get ads up and deployed. Now, I'm not going to be able to spend $10,000 in ads in a week. It won't happen because these are new ad accounts. I just set them up. I lost all my ad accounts. At least I assume that for myself in this scenario. I don't get to go off my history with Facebook or Instagram or anybody else, YouTube. I'm going to have to go build new accounts that aren't established. So I'm going to be lucky to get $50 a day up in the beginning, $100 a day. But I'm going to start traffic because I'm not trying to build a 30-day solution. I'm trying to build $1 million business based upon a 30-day sprint to get me out of the hole so that my wife and I and my family and my kids can breathe a little bit. So traffic, 1, 2, money so that you believe. So as I'm stepping into the offers then, I'm not leaning on the funnel to do all the selling. This is the third piece to remember. Okay, I've built a ton of relationships through chat, which means I'm going to drive indirectly a lot of people to the funnel inside these live groups and these networking groups on Facebook I've been part of, the 10 that I was adding value to the whole time. Now I'm going to align with the owners of those groups. I'm going to get them to let me promote. And if they don't, then I'm private messaging the funnel to everyone in chat who I had been talking to for 3 weeks. A lot of the problems I watch with rookies that come to the ClickFunnels table with us, and they're like, well, I want to be in 2 Comma Club. I'm like, well, I appreciate you want to be in 2 Comma Club. You just spent 6 months trying to build a fucking funnel. And you spent 0 time in that 6 months trying to build a list of people to talk to. You don't need to wait for an email list to build a list. We live in a modern age which allows you, all we're looking for is permission from people who want to hear from you. So it's not me just building for 3 weeks and then hoping that my funnel will work. It's me building, knowing that my funnel is the long-term stability play to allow me to take the 30-day success and make it a every month thing. Allow me to push into the future. So I'm going to push to the funnel. I'm also going to be monitoring the funnel. As I get opt-ins, I'm going to send personal emails, not just my autoresponders. I'm going to send personal emails to everyone that opts in, and I'm going to link up personalized videos that I have shot to them from my cell phone with their name. So if Bailey opted in, and I got Bailey's email, and there she is, and I got her first name and her email, I would literally take 30 seconds, shoot a video, put it up on YouTube, put that video with the link and say, hey, Bailey, I'm so excited to see that you chose into this video series. I hope that you get value. I also want to let you know, hey, if at any point throughout this you need some guidance or assistance with it, I'd love to be there for you. All you'll have to do is actually click on this link right here, and that'll take you to the application page where you and I can set up a consultation. But either way, I just wanted to let you know that I'm here. If you need something, you got my personal email now. Yes, I'm going to send you some automatic emails, but you can also email me here if you have any questions. Also, here's my social media tag of Facebook and an Instagram. If you'd like to chat it up during the funnel for any reason you have questions as you're watching these videos, feel free to hit me up. Thanks so much, Garrett. And I would shoot 50 of those. Hey, John, what's up? This is Garrett. I just saw that you joined my series here. Found it, da-da-da-da-da. I want to shoot you a personal message right now telling you thank you for being here. Also, don't know what brought you here, but want to add a little bit more value support if I can, which is give you some opportunity to hit me up personally if you have any questions about the videos. Now, right now inside of my current funnels, I would never do this. Because why? Because we have 4,000, 3,000 people a day opting into my funnels. Like we have thousands of sales happening every week. Like to me, it's just impossible. But if I'm starting over again, and this is where you guys this is where some of you have been used to making some money and you think you're too fucking good to get your hands on a shovel, dig some ditches and clean some toilets. I worked in a slaughter plant for cattle. Night shift, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., 12 hours with a hot hose cleaning up cow guts all night fucking long and baby cow fetuses. Like I worked in sanitation. I cleaned up shitty fucking toilets. Like the part that you've got to understand is if you've lost everything, this is no time for ego. This is no time of what used to be. Nobody gives a shit about what you used to do. You better get your ass in gear and go, because that makes me sick when I sit back and listen to guys who were in the mortgage industry with me 10 years ago. Oh, back in the mortgage day, the mortgage crisis. I'm like, you fucking idiot. That was 10 years ago. You were only successful for like 3 years. You spent the last 10 whining and sucking your finger about how you haven't got shit done. So you're going to have to strip your ego down and just be real. And the funny part is, as companies get bigger, they lose this. And it's what makes companies fall apart, is they lose the personal touch. And so many of you listening, it's the angle that you have, even on a guy like me, is the fact that you can do what? Everybody that opts in, you can send them a personal video. We won't do that here at Wake Up Warrior because the volume is just too high.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it just goes back to the basic principles that if you have lost it all, putting in that work and remembering those simple tasks that literally everyone does have access to. So, Garrett, we are running out of time, though, on this interview. And so I wanted to make sure that before we close here, I have an opportunity to ask you if you would like to share anything else with our listening audience about your 30-day plan or about business in general.
You are going to have to grind. Like if you look throughout it, like I take time off from my kids on every morning throughout the 30 days. And I take time with my wife once a week for date night. And we take a family morning on Sunday mornings. And every other second of that day, of the rest of those days, I'm working. Like I'm grinding. And I've told everyone in my life, do not interrupt me. Do not stop me. Do not ask for shit from me. I am in grind mode. I am in lockdown. 12, 14, 16-hour days. Like I was out surfing with my friend this morning and he had looked at my plan and he said, dude, there's like a few superhumans on the planet that could pull off what you just wrote down on that. And then we kept talking about it and he said, it's not even that it's superhuman. He's like, the thing that most people will never do is they will never fucking work as hard as you. And the worst part is when you see people that want to be successful and you want to be part of the 2 Comma Club and you feel like you want to be on stage and you want to change your life and you want to change the game, and sitting before you, you have .com secrets, you have expert secrets, you have the ClickFunnels software, you have an entire network that is there to support you. For $1,800 a month, you can get ridiculous coaching and training on business and marketing from Russell and his teams and fly to Boise and be part of the 2 Comma Club game and all of this. And the one thing that no one can give you is a willingness to fucking work and be ruthlessly committed to your results. That's what's common with every 2 Comma Club member. It's what's common with every ex-member that did 10 million or more, is that we set a target and it didn't matter. If the funnel didn't work, we built another one. If the page didn't work, build another one. If shit didn't work, build another one. Video didn't work, shoot another one. It didn't work this week? Fine. Figure out why and fix it next week. It didn't work that week? Fine. Fix it and do it something different and try it again. Try it again. Do 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 it again. You're not just going to show up on these calls and watch this shit and be successful. You can watch every goddamn 30-day program video interview and still suck. Or you could combine the stuff that you see that's successful inside of these maps that you're being given access to, and you could change your life forever.
Absolutely. So which one is everyone going to choose? Garrett, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the summit. For those of you watching at home, I'd love to ask, are you ready to embark on your own 30-day journey to success? If that is the case, then I have something incredible I want to tell you about. It's called the One Funnel Away Challenge. Just click the button on this page in order to learn more and upgrade. You're going to have an opportunity to craft your own customized and personalized 30-day journey to success and getting that next award-winning funnel launched with the help and guidance of a ClickFunnels 2 Club coach. Truly incredible value, but when you upgrade, you're also going to be getting some fantastic bonuses, including a physical copy of the 30 Days book, where we've put together all of the 30-day plans written by all of the speakers on the 30-day summit, unlimited access to the interview that you just watched with Garrett, plus, of course, all of the other summit speakers on this event, and my favorite part of the package, a second interview with every single speaker on the summit, where I'm going behind the scenes with them and they're showing me via screen share how it is that they have actually set up their award-winning funnels. The value is out of this world and you don't want to miss it. So make sure that you upgrade and join the One Funnel Away Challenge today. Garrett, one more time, it's been absolutely incredible having you being a part of this summit. Thanks so much.
You got it. Thanks, guys.